Hey there, everybody in the FFBE Global Facebook group, and hello to everybody who sees this video on YouTube as well. Welcome to this week's episode of Ask an Old Mog. And because it's Friday, August 26th at like 9:56 p.m. Central Time when I started recording this, Facebook users still do not have access to the game, which is just what it is, you know. But I did want to try and put something out because I did see a bunch of questions about this topic in the Facebook group, given the circumstances. And I think it would be useful to talk about. Without further ado, let's just get into it. I think that this is a topic that I think will become very important for a lot of players who are really frustrated right now. And I want you to make sure you take the right steps to take care of your account the way you want to. I'm not saying that you should do what we're about to talk about, but if you want to make sure you follow the steps that are outlined by Gumi's support, make sure you're doing it in a safe way to take care of your account. Let's get into it. So the question that came up in the group, and this has honestly been going on since yesterday. So the question is, how do you change your social media account binding? And to get an answer for this one, we're going to go straight to Gumi support. I'm going to pop up a link right here. We're going to reference their support site. The link is right here on the page. Gumi.helpshift.com/a/Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, whatever. It's all there. But there's specifically an article, and I'm going to go through a handful of them. I'm going to pull them up here on the screen. That's called, I want to switch to the Google login option. How do I unbind my account linked to Facebook? And like I said, I don't think that you necessarily have to do this or should do this. But if you're going to do it, there's a couple things you should definitely know about how this works and what steps you need to take. And I want you to do this the right way so you don't lose your account, okay? Forewarning, there's a risk when you do this that you could lose things. If you accidentally, delete the game while you're in guest mode, it's going to delete everything. It's going to delete all your stuff. So you want to make sure you follow these steps very carefully, and we're going to show them on the screen, okay? I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way and pop Chrome up. So here we are. Here we're at the Gumi support page, and over on the right-hand side, Google login system. There are 8 questions in the Google login system. We're going to look at them all. One of them, though, is I want to switch to the Google login option. How do I do that? So I'm just going to click this one here, view all 8 questions, and it's going to tell you what the Google login option is. It's an alternative login from Facebook. iOS users also have the ability to use the Apple Store for their login option. But there's a very important note right here, right? If you are currently bound to Facebook, this is counted as one of your limited number binding attempts. And once you unbind your game from Facebook, you can no longer use Facebook as a binding method if there are no remaining binding attempts. Okay, so there's limited number. It's going to tell you how many you have when you do this. But if you unbind from Facebook, you can't go back once you use up all your binding attempts. Each account has a limited number of times you can change from one social media to another. So be careful. Don't do it just like willy-nilly, okay? What will happen to my Facebook friends? If you remove Facebook as your binding method of choice, all of your synced in-game Facebook friends will also be removed. So any friends that joined your adventure here with you because you synced with Facebook will just disappear. Worth to note, okay? I want to switch to the Google login option. How do I unbind my account linked to Facebook? To do this, you're going to follow the steps, right? You're going to tap on menu. So obviously you have to be in the game. So right now, Facebook users do not have the ability to do this because we can't get into the menu. And then there's just a button for account binding. You tap change. It'll pull up the list of options that you have. It will warn you to confirm you want to do it. And there's even a note there. There are a limited number of binding attempts on each social media account. Once you run out, you will not be able to bind your game account to any social media accounts. Don't just do this casually. Do this because you think it's the right thing to do and you're sure you're going to do it. Leave it on the email that you're attaching it to, Google or App Store, Apple Store, whatever you're wanting to do. Do it once. Don't do this more than once. Here we go. I bound my game account to the incorrect Google account and ran out of binding attempts. Is it possible to conduct a transfer? No. Just says it right there. No, you cannot. Once you run out of attempts, you're out of attempts. That's why I say don't just casually do this. Here we go. I linked my account to Google, but I want to revert back to the Facebook binding option. Once you've used up your attempts, you can no longer use Facebook as a binding method. So once you're out, you're out. You would have to start over with a new game, or just leave your game permanently on guest mode and never delete it, and hopefully you never have a problem. I can no longer access my Google account email with my password. For concerns related to that, contact Google support. It's their password. Obviously you got to work with them. And I lost my account after I changed the service bound to my game account. They say, do try to relaunch the game to check the account details. If your account is still missing, please let us know immediately by providing the following details through a ticket report: player ID, inquiry code support ID, account name and rank, last device used, and other details that help you locate your account. What I would recommend is, if you're going to switch from Facebook to Google or vice versa, or to Apple or something like that, take a screenshot of your game with your player ID, your support ID, your account name and your rank, your lapis that's on your account. Put together a team of 5 NeoVisions units that you have, so that they know, that these were units that were on your account. Have that screenshot available in case something goes wrong, so you can help them get your account. Okay, they'll help you locate it, but you have to have that information. So before you switch anything, I would highly recommend take a screenshot, get all this information documented right here. Very important step. What does the unbind button do in the account binding menu? Tapping the unbind button unlinks your account from Facebook and Google. Your account will be reverted to a guest account, which is very unsafe to leave on your device, because if you say you've got it in guest mode and you drop your device and it breaks, and you can't get back into it, now that account is just stored on that device. And if you go into get it repaired and they have to replace the hard drive, then your game is wiped and you don't have it anymore. So that's why leaving it bound to something is good. But obviously people are frustrated right now and they want to switch to Google or iOS, whatever. Don't leave it in guest mode. If you leave it in guest mode and delete the game, or have to erase your hard drive on your phone for some reason, it's gone. So make sure you can bind it. But all you do is you tap the unbind button, choose yes when it pops up with the prompt, and then you're done. So take note of the details that are displayed when clicking unbind. That's what I'm talking about. Save that information. And again, please take note, there's a limit to the number of times on your game account you can link with each service. Okay? And there you go. That's all 8 questions here that are in the Google login system. There's a bunch of other stuff here as well, but this is the stuff that's most relevant right now, because a lot of players are asking about, how do I do this? I wish I could get into the game and show you some of those buttons. The screenshots on there are going to have to suffice. This is support. You can see here that is tied to version 7, which is what we're in currently. So this should be good information. If you've got questions once we get back into the game, if you're considering this, I would seriously recommend maybe supporting looking through some tutorials, or somebody who's doing it step by step and showing you. But again, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of that, because you have a limited number of account binds. I'm not currently planning on doing this once we get back into the game. But maybe if somebody is willing to do it or wants to do it, and they want to work with me to create, to stream their, they can stream their phone while we do this, so that we can kind of record a step-by-step of it. I can edit out any relevant, bad details that we don't want to see. And we could show it step by step. But if you're up for that, let me know. I'd be happy to try and help that, so we can kind of create this guide for how you transfer. But I'm not currently planning on doing it, so we're just going to go by the Gumi support site for right now, if you're interested in that. And that's really the best recommendation I have for you, is to check out here. Always go with official sources if you can. I don't think it's particularly unsafe to do it, but you just want to make sure you follow the steps correctly, because especially if you've invested money in the game, you've definitely invested time and support and effort. You don't want to lose your progress, and I don't want you to lose your progress either. If you think it's worth it to you to change bindings, here's where I recommend you start to look to get that process started for you. Okay, that's really all I've got for right now. Like I said, I can't get into the game to demonstrate anything, and I'm going to just try and be patient because it's looking like it might be a little while, and that's okay. You know, I've got other things I can do, other games I can play, and time I can spend with my family, and yeah, lots of stuff to do. Life is real here. So hopefully that helps you guys. You know, stay strong, stay patient out there. We'll be back in before you know it, I'm sure. Maybe longer than we want to wait, but it'll happen eventually. It always does. And at that point, if you want to change, now we've talked about how to do that. So if you've got a question you want to see in next week's video, you know, let me know in the comments, and we can talk about it. Hopefully, with some live, you know, visual aids of the game playing through those questions. So yeah, you guys be good to each other. Take care. Have a great night, and we'll see you in the next video. All right.